What's up guys, Lou here, and right behind me is the brand new Cadillac ATS. And as requested, I'm gonna give you guys a first look, show you some of the technology inside because I know that's what you're interested in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the 2013 Cadillac ATS. So as you can see, it's got the red coloring on this particular one. You can get it in a number of different colors. You have big 18-inch rims. I believe they're 18-inch. Not all models come with the same rims. This is the top of the line model, top trim line. I believe it's around 50 grand spec'd out this way, but it does start a lot lower than that, in the high 30s. So the first technology feature I want to mention is actually the handles. You've got LED lights right inside the handles. Now, besides being a feature to help you find your vehicle, maybe in a crowded parking lot or something like that, it's also a really good look. And since the car features push button start with keyless entry, you don't actually even have to remove the key from your pocket. You just press this little button here to lock or unlock the car, assuming that the key fob is close by. Now the car is running right now, so I don't have to lock or unlock it. Obviously, I don't even think you can lock it when the car is running. So go ahead and walk around the exterior just quickly before taking a look on the inside. Another technology feature here is the adaptive headlights. These headlights here are actually going to move as you turn to help illuminate the bend as you turn around it. So if there's, I don't know, an animal or another vehicle or something, you're gonna see it before you make your turn. Here's a closer look at the front end. As you can see, sharp lines in the design, carrying forward the Cadillac look, if you will, from previous Cadillacs. You have the emblem there as well. I'll move around to the other side, and I guess we should go ahead and jump in. Maybe I should talk about the engine. We'll jump in the car first. It's actually a little chilly outside right now this morning. It's pretty early. So this one is the 4-cylinder model. There are actually 3 different engines you can get in here. You can get 2 different 4-cylinders. This is probably the one most of you are going to be interested in if you're interested in this vehicle. It's got the turbocharged 272 horsepower engine. To go with it, you've got 4-wheel drive, so this is going to be a good choice, I guess, for those that are in northern climates and have to use this vehicle when the weather is not so nice. So looking around the interior here, you can see you've got all your normal controls in the normal sort of locations. You've got controls on your steering wheel. You've got a big display over here, and everything in the center dash, center console here is touch screen, touch enabled, I should say, including haptic feedback, which is kind of interesting. It takes a little bit to get used to, I have to admit, but after you do, you start to get the feel for it. So everything in here responds to your touch with a little buzz, much like your smartphone does. And as you can see, you've got your normal controls like volume here. I can control volume just by swiping like this. You can see volume goes up, volume goes down. And on top of that, you've got just normal controls that aren't swipeable, but will turn on, you know, your fans or things like that. Climate control, you can see it's sort of reflected up in the screen as you touch things down here. Heated seats obviously are there as well. I should turn off the fan actually so you guys can hear me better instead of the fan. The screen also has a proximity sensor, so if your hand is not near it, if it doesn't sense that you want to input a press or something like that, then it will have this more sleek interface where you're just seeing the song playing, and you know, whether you're listening to radio or you have nav on, and then as I come closer like this, you'll see the controls pop up. So that's a kind of cool feature because, you know, these can look a little bit cluttered when you're not using them and not as elegant as the ride itself is. Now, I guess we should just dive right into the technology, might as well. There's the push button start, of course. Put your foot on the brake, start up, and you're ready to go. That's beautiful. This, of course, has satellite radio. That's what you're looking at right now. But as I come closer, you'll see you've also got voice activation, or I should say voice controls that can control a number of different elements within the interface. For media, you've got a lot to choose from actually. You can use USB SD card slot. There's an SD card slot in the in this section over here. Actually, I'm going to jump right in here quickly before we continue on. In here in the center console, that's what this is called, you've got auxiliary, 2 USBs. They're tough to make out. You're going to have to trust me on that. There's an SD card reader. And there's also a little slot over here worth mentioning where you can put your key fob in. If it runs out of battery and the car won't start, you can insert your fob right there as an emergency sort of protocol. getting back to the dash over here. So you do have SD for media as well as USB. You can put a USB thumb drive in here. You've also got Bluetooth, of course. I got my Nexus 4 paired up right now. So you can stream Bluetooth audio, phone calls, all that good stuff. Next, what do we have next? Auxiliary, which I mentioned before, and you can just cycle through your media options. There's also traditional CD, and the CD player is in the glove box over here. It's not actually in the dash. The funny thing here is that's because the dash has a really cool feature. If I touch down on the bottom right here, you'll see it lifts up, which is damn cool in my opinion, to reveal a nice compartment, nice sized compartment here, which also features another USB. And something that's a nice touch is that this USB is illuminated, so if it's late at night and you can't see in there, you can sort of see. You can obviously see at night because of that illumination. And you press here on the front, right here, I believe. Am I pressing the right spot? There we go. And it'll lower back down. So a real cool way to hide your media player, your smartphone, anything like that, as well as keeping it connected to your system while it's hidden away. Let's go ahead and jump back to the home menu here. Within the home menu, you can actually move these icons around kind of once again like your smartphone. So say I press and hold on settings, and you'll see that all of a sudden it becomes movable. I can move it over here and it'll rearrange my dash if I want to have it that way. I can also move things to different pages. Not sure why you'd want to. I know that if the car is Pandora enabled, or if you have Pandora where you live, you might see a Pandora icon here as well. You press the home button when you're finished editing, and then you can see I've changed around the location of the icons. You've got audio is the first one, I guess, that we should talk about. The radio has XM. You can browse through all your different stations in this manner here. Now you can also scroll using the scroll bar if you want to speed things up. So there is some availability there to speed up the process of inputting your channel. If I exit from here, we should go ahead and look into the phone. Phone is pretty straightforward. You've got your phone book as well as an interface for inputting phone numbers if you just want to dial in the traditional manner. Now something interesting on this particular vehicle is the nav. The nav is actually multi-touch enabled. Actually, this whole screen is multi-touch enabled. So you can, you know, pinch and pull like this to get closer. It does take a little bit to input the data. It takes a little while. It's trying to load up a couple different things at once because they've got traffic enabled on there, and I don't actually have a route enabled right now. But you can also nudge left and right. It does work, but it's not the fastest. If you're used to a smartphone, you're probably not going to be all that impressed with the reactivity of this particular you know, dash here, but it is a little better than some of the other stuff that's on the market that doesn't even offer pinch to zoom at all. There you can go. And you can nudge it a little bit too, but like I said before, it does take a little bit to get used to. The nav itself looks really good, and there are a number of POIs in there. I had no problems using the nav, and you can also use your voice to input destinations and things like that. So that's pretty standard fare in that particular area and department. But as we move over here, things get a little bit more interesting and a little bit more unusual. You do have a HUD. HUD, if you guys don't know what that is, that means that you're going to have displayed up on your windshield, and I'm pretty sure, oh, actually you can kind of make that out. Let me see if I can zoom in here and give you guys a closer look. See that there? Just floating out there? That's my HUD. And right now, it's set to show the speed I'm traveling at, as well as my rev counter there, because this vehicle does also include shifters. You have shifters on the steering wheel as well as down here. So if you choose to use a manual mode, or if you want to switch gears, you can do that, even though this is an automatic ride. So the HUD can be configured in a number of ways. Depending on the height that you are, you're going to want to move it around, which is totally possible. You can see there I can move the HUD until it will vanish at some point, but I can move the HUD around into the optimal location. We'll keep it right there for now. Maybe, is that a good spot? Yeah. And then you can also change what it displays. So you can have a speed limit warning, you can have the radio station you're listening to, you can have the direction you're traveling in and nav. So that'll also update your turns and whatnot if you do have a destination set and you're traveling on a navigation route. I don't know, I kind of like the look of the rev counter. I've been, you know, trying to drive this car, you know, get the most out of it. So I've had the rev counter there. You can also adjust the brightness down here in this location. Everything is controlled in terms of the HUD right in this location here, which might be tough to make out. Oh no, you got a clear view there. You can also control a couple of other cool features down here, including your lane departure warning, which is pretty cool. I'll explain that right now. There's so much technology on this car, guys. It's I've already been going 10 minutes and I'm not even all the way in there, but you've got lane departure warning, and that is probably one of my favorite features because it's unusual. It's not the way that most car companies do lane departure. What it is you actually get a buzz in your seat. That's right. At the bottom of your seat, you're gonna get a vibration that lets you know if you are departing your lane without signaling. So, you know, if you're doing it accidentally, if you're swaying, if you're sleepy, you're gonna get a vibration on the right-hand side if you're swaying to the right, and a vibration on the left-hand side of your seat if you're swaying to the left. So, very cool little alert system without annoying everyone else in the car as well. You know, some of those beeps get crazy. Now, on top of that, you've got a blind spot warning over on the mirror. It's going to illuminate right within the mirror to let you know if there's a vehicle in your blind spot that you need to be worried about, so you don't switch lanes when there's another vehicle there. In terms of the interior, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I just noticed the interior, one feature that I like, which is on the side, on the doors, on the side of the doors, on the interior here, you've got these brushed aluminum looking trim components, which I think are a really sweet look. And you've also got really soft touch materials everywhere, leather everywhere. You've got the Cadillac little emblem there in the center of the seats. The seats are all leather trimmed, as you'd expect. You know, a luxury vehicle all the way around. I'm going to concentrate more on the technology in this particular little first look video because that's what you guys are probably most interested in. On the steering wheel, you've got controls for all kinds of things, including volume up, down. You can switch between radio stations. This selector here controls this screen. Another screen. Another screen, yeah. So this screen right here underneath the speedometer can be controlled, and what you can do is if I press this here, so I'm just pressing on this particular button between left and right. Right will access the screen towards the right. Now you can set that for speed. I could set it for tire pressure. I could set it for oil life, distance to destination if I have one set, travel time. Whoa, check out this SWAT vehicle. Holy smokes. Sorry guys, I just had to interrupt. That is a serious machine. You don't want to mess with those guys. I think they're going to Starbucks. I think they need some coffee. They're up for a tough day today. Anyways, so as you can see here, you could set it for a number of different things, and then a timer, fuel economy, fuel range, odometer, and then if you want to shrink it, you just press over. So I press right one more time on this particular button, and that'll shrink it or make it larger. And the same goes for the left-hand side. I can pick another piece of information that I choose to display on a regular basis, and then I can also do the same in the center. So tons of configuration options here, and really you can set this thing up however it is that you want to use it, and however it is that suits you. On the left-hand side, you've got your voice communication. You've got, this is another cool feature here worth mentioning. But before I get into that, heated steering wheel and a way to drop your phone calls if you choose to. Up here we have a distance warning for in front of you to avoid front collisions. And this is actually going to do the same thing. It's going to buzz your seat if you get too close to vehicles in front of you. And you can set it, if it's annoying you, to a couple of different methods. So if I click on it, you'll see the gap adjust is the way to adjust when it warns you. You can set a medium gap, a near gap, or a far gap. So depending on the way you like to drive, if you like to tailgate a little more than others, you can set the adjustment so you're not getting warned too often, or you're getting warned just as often as you like it. Now, as I mentioned before, I didn't give you guys a look here, but you do have paddle shifters. Those are tough to make out. Yeah, you do have paddle shifters on there for driving slightly more aggressively if you choose to. And now I got to remember if I'm missing anything on this vehicle or if I hit everything. Oh, you got a compartment down here. I almost missed this little. There's a cool little cubby hole there. You've got your regular power outlet, cigarette lighter style power outlet if you choose to charge maybe another device in this compartment here. You've got a mode selector. almost missed that. This is more driving related. This mode selector will be reflected up on this screen, and you can set between Tour, Sport, Snow, and Ice. And as I said before, this is the 4-wheel drive model with the 4-cylinder engine, turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And this particular engine puts out 272 horsepower. So paired to 4-wheel drive, it's going to be a pretty decent vehicle to drive, even, you know, in snowy conditions, wintry conditions. There is a rear-wheel drive also available, which would obviously be a little bit less stable under those conditions. Up here, you've got your standard GM stuff, which, let me see if I can bring it out. Yeah, there you go. You got your OnStar, of course, and controls for the sunroof and your lights there. Pretty standard fare. So anyway, that's a quick look. I think I went over most of the technology. If I forgot something, well, that's too bad. I don't want this video to go on too long. One more thing that I almost forgot to mention is the wonderful Bose audio system inside of this vehicle. Not only does it sound good, but it has a very cool technology feature. It will automatically adjust volume levels depending on the amount of noise in the cabin. So if your driving conditions change, you're about to merge onto the highway and road noise goes up, you're not going to have to reach for the volume buttons on your steering wheel. It will automatically attempt to adjust the volume of what you're listening to so you could still hear it even as road noise increases. Now, this feature is especially useful if you like listening at lower volumes. Obviously, if you like to, you know, bump your music real loud, you're still going to have to do that manually, but it gives you a little bit of adjustment that happens automatically. You really hardly even notice it. A very smart and very cool feature that I haven't seen personally on an audio system before. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers most of the awesome technology features on this particular ride. If there's anything I forgot, let me know down in the comments section if you're familiar with this particular car. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a thumbs up down below, as it does help out a bunch. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Remember, I'm renovating my new office right now. It'll be finished very soon, and I'll be back to regular upload schedules very shortly. Thanks for your support as always, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.